This is going to be similar. Yeah. Right, your Kindle. Right. And so some people will come through Amazon because, hey, you know what? Low risk. It's $4.99. I'm gonna pick this thing up because, hey, nobody knows about it. This is on my Kindle. They're gonna buy it at this low dollar amount. But what you're trying to do is the same thing, right? You're bringing these people through this all the way up here, right? And these people come in through information. So yes, you're right. I may not want to see this if I come in and I come to get help from you. But this person is already proven they'll buy. They'll buy information. And they'll buy information that they think is helpful. And so you are bringing these people up here to a higher dollar amount. So again, having something at every level, same content, right? Same content. We're taking them up this chain. We could stretch it out that way, which is the same thing. You could drive some people to this with some ads. Now, sometimes the way to do this is not necessarily Facebook ads. I think one of the ways to do this is, especially with something like weight loss, can be YouTube. YouTube is cheap, and sometimes, I mean, if you know anything about Khan Academy, a YouTube channel all by itself, right? And I'm a believer in these channels because I've seen it work. They will drive people to these things, right? So having the same thing that you would produce in an article to be put into a video, and instead of driving people to the clinic, this can drive people to an email, and then the email can drive people to Kindle. And the good thing about this is that these people don't have to be local, right? These people can be all over the world, and because of that, you're gonna have people who are gonna buy this because you're another voice, right? And anybody that buys information on weight loss one time, they're going to buy it 10 times because they're going to want to get all the perspectives on it. And Kindle is cheap enough to get somebody in the door. Once again, front-end purchase, right, through email. And then what you're doing is you're saying, hey, you know, I've got a home study course. Come to this webinar. Here's a guide you can get. Yep, self-publishing. And so this, but the way to get them there, right? Can be one way to get them there is to have YouTube channel or podcasting, right? Same thing. I mean, the kind of person who buys information listens to podcasts. They don't, they're not really into radio, not into television, but they get hooked on this thing on iTunes. And so they start listening and they think, hey, you know what? I like what this guy's talking about. And every week they hear this guy talking about he's got this book, right? And some people even give a Kindle book away, right? Some people have a free Kindle book so that they can get people into their paid one, right? But all the time what they're doing is they're trying to get people up the funnel, up the information funnel, right? And so, this can be a YouTube channel, right? Because that's the kind of person that buys information. This could be, these days they have something called blog talk radio, right? It's like live radio, right? Even today, right? The thing that's kind of getting to be like a big deal is Facebook Live, Periscope, right? All those things, and in those things, right, where you sort of with people who are already online, they're a little bit tech savvy, they're all over the world, and then something resonates, and then they say, well, hey, you know what? I do have this book over there. It's free. Why don't you go pick it up? You can pick it up today, or it's typically $4.99. You can pick it up today, and at the end of that book, encouraging people, number one, to become part of the email list, right? This is the ultimate. right? This is the ultimate. So everything really comes back to getting these people on the email list. And of course, this email list is not going to be the same, right? You're probably going to have two. So you sort of have your local customers, and that's going to be one email list. And you can do that within an autoresponder. So, and then you've got these information customers. They're international, and they're going to be, same account, same email provider account, but different list. And so you're talking to these people about a totally different thing, right? Your local customers. This is but this thing here, we're just trying to bring them up this funnel. And so all these things are things we do one time. The only thing that we're doing pretty much every day to increase ROI is we're writing an email. Right now, these folks, they don't mind getting email every day. Right? So you send the email to these folks every single day, because the repetition means that they know they need reminding. You got a Kindle book. They need reminding. You got a home study course. And some people will say, you know what, today? Okay, you know what? Today's the day. And so you're constantly growing this list from YouTube, from podcasting, from Blog Talk Radio, from SE. So all these things are growing this email list, and in everything becomes this virtual machine that you set up once, right? And all it does is it pushes people to the top of the funnel. And so the business, and a person doesn't have to be business savvy. All you got to do to know how to do this is know these people better than anybody else. So when you get to know these people, you'll start to know, you know what, this is what they want, right? This is what they want at that point. And you might change some things here, and you might decide, okay, well, this is what they want at that point. And as you get to know them and they start talking to them, this will be something that you can do uniquely in your business. And the only key is going to be getting to know the people who are on this list. And sometimes it could mean surveying them, finding out what it is they want. There are ways to ask a survey, do a survey online, so that if I click the answer to A, you send me to this book. If I click the answer B, you might send me to this page or this book. If I say none of the above, you might send me to a webinar. And there are ways to do that, right? And so that's we can do all of that stuff online, right? That's all internet marketing, and all that stuff is going to be generated by this stuff, right? Where we're sort of talking to people, and we're talking to people online about that subject. And this means that you are this other guru, right? This person that kind of knows this aspect of, you have this brand that is information. And really, the credibility that you bring to the brand comes from the practice. I have a practice, so I know what I'm talking about. Let me tell you, this is what I had. I had this experience in my practice day. I was talking to a lady, and so all that comes back here and lends credibility to the information. So if I were to approach this, right, I would approach this by getting the thing that I'm most comfortable with. If it's making videos, if it's talking, right? So if you're an audio guy, doing some kind of podcast, if you're a writer, blogging. Okay, I'm not as the kind of person who might make a decision. They might be more apt to read, right? But however, the person who's more apt to spend, you can test all these, right? Wherever you get the best response, your best response from your videos, podcast, Blog Talk Radio, and then you just pick one and just do that one to death, because it's hard to do all these. Probably impossible to do them all at the same time, but you can't do one. And this becomes like a cereal. like serial TV. Like Wednesday at 10 is the Paul show. Or my blog posts come out every Wednesday at 10. And the serial nature of that, people will begin to anticipate that, and they will wait for it in that way. And so it can be any one of these things, right? Whichever one works the best and that you can make work, you're to do that, and you're driving people to sign up for your email, and you're emailing people every day. Again, it could be something short, weight loss story, success story, a little something to remind them. What I call them are parables. So in other words, hey, I was out with my daughter today, and she picked up a grain of sand, and she said a grain of sand is the beach. And so then you turn that parable into, some people take one little thing and they make a big conclusion out of this thing. And that's what it is like with diabetes. People hear one thing and they make a conclusion. So every day is a parable, right? And an offer, right? With these people, every day is a parable. Just a parable, something personal parable, and then an offer.
I think you're definitely right. I didn't even think of that. That fits right in that some people will never come into the practice, regardless of whether they need it or not. And especially men. I don't know men's spending habits, but 8 times out of 10 when my phone rings, it's a woman.
Yeah.
And even if they're making an appointment, it'll be an ex-girlfriend, it'll be a sister, it'll be a mother, it'll be a wife, ex-wife. Literally, men do not call the doctor.
Yeah.
So all of my marketing to this point has been to women, because they're the ones that make the financial decisions as far as healthcare goes. But I wonder if by circumventing this to where men don't have to be embarrassed, like maybe if they could explore this without the, well, I'm macho. I'm still macho, even though I'm going to a weight loss. Even though I'm looking at this weight loss stuff, I'm still a macho man, because that's what a lot of them come in. They feel like, I've had a number of guys that have come in and say that they feel like a girly man because they're worried about their weight.
Yeah, I read a blog post the other day, and it just said something like, "Men, go to the blank doctor," and it kind of got everybody's attention. And I guess the thing is that one of the things I like about YouTube is that the stats here, right? The stats tell you sort of who you and you can probably get those stats with podcasting and blog talk radio and even with blogging, but YouTube statistics will tell you who you're vibing with. So in other words, like one of the things I do, I sell private label rights or rebrandable content. And I know that 70% of the people who watch my videos are guys, 35 to 54, like marketers. So I know that. So when I do videos for, I know these guys are watching this. So I don't have to, I know how to be on that video, right? Because if I get too much into my feelings, and YouTube will tell you, the drop off, dudes are like, I don't have time for this. They're tuning out. So this is one of the good things about videos is that, it'll tell you if guys are watching it, if they're into the subject, and if you're reaching them with video. And the thing will be whether or not a guy will kind of connect with a video on that subject. And it's worth testing, right? It's worth putting some video content out there, sharing it every place, and then seeing, okay, who's watching, who's continuing to watch, who gets on my email list, and it could be. And if you see that 70% of the way you deliver it is going to be guys, you got something, because again, everybody who's going to do this, they'll buy an information product if they don't have to go to the doctor.
Is it still safe to say though that women do spend more than men, as far as they're more likely to make a purchase?
It depends. and it's all statistics. There's a phrase in marketing that in God we trust, all others must have data. So it's kind of like it could be, it might be. The only way we know, right? We have to test it. So we have to put some bait out there.
Put some feelers out, and just the same as my time as a resource, just the same way that I'm spending money. And that's the one thing that frustrates me with my advertising is I have no idea what the return on my investment is.
We have to, and so that's why the key to this is the key to advertising is tracking. Right? You gotta have. Well, the tracking systems become. So okay, so let's say.
It was easy, like you said. You can see who you're reaching, and you can tell how many people sign up for your email mailing list. So that's an easy way to track. That's an easy metric to track success. But the only way that I'm gauging this is I still have patients coming in through the door and signing up for appointments constantly. I still have good numbers on the website.